How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Highway Blossoms. Now, this is going to be a playthrough here on the channel. I did a one-off of this, and actually really liked what I saw out of this. It wasn't something, it wasn't something seemingly generic, as I thought it may have been. It seemed very interesting and different from what I've played out of visual novels, and I thought it'd be fun to actually record the entirety of it, or at least go a little deeper and see what else this has to offer. So yes, this will be a playthrough here on the channel. The one-off was because of a Patreon suggestion. I do these every month, or I do those every month, take suggestions from either the YouTube members or the patrons that I have over on Patreon, and just try something. Now, this isn't going to be a regular thing where, you know, I try something and, you know, dig it enough to do a playthrough, because then I'll just have more playthroughs on my plate. But I thought this would be a fun one to check out, get another visual novel here up on the channel, and have some fun with it. So let's go ahead and jump back in. I don't really remember what we did last time, because I recorded this back in February, and it's now late March. I've been very busy with moving. So I couldn't really sit down and record this earlier when I wanted to, because I did want to. It wasn't long after I recorded the one-off that I wanted to return to this and actually record it as a legitimate series. But because of everything that was going on, I really couldn't. So here we are in March, where I'm finally able to continue this. So I hope you would enjoy all of this and are ready to sit through with a nice little playthrough here with the game, as am I. So let's read on. I guess we're here in a good old RV or motorhome. We clamber back inside the motorhome, leaving the dry hellishness behind, and turn the ignition and let the AC blast away the RV's stuffiness. Actually, something I want to do is go in here. We're going to change the text speed up to 60 CPS. I don't know what CPS stands for. But you know what? That's already a lot faster. Letting out breaths of sweet relief, Marina and I collapse back into our seats.
Alright, so where's the first piece of the treasure?
Well...
You have no idea, do you?
That's not true! The news said a part of it was somewhere here in New Mexico. Probably.
Yeah, if you guys forgot, as I kinda did for a second there, we are on a treasure hunt. We had just learned about it, and our blonde friend here, or seemingly blonde friend, the one on the left, Marina, has actually been going on this treasure hunt, though she has been failing because her car quote-unquote broke down, but I'm pretty sure she was just out of gas. And now that car is stolen. So now we're on this adventure following the character on the right. I'm assuming she's our main protagonist. We also get English dubs. That's different. I was not expecting that when I first recorded this. I'm not surprised at all. Should have seen this coming.
You have the journal?
Yeah?
She hands the cheap paperback book, to me. The cover feels like it could fall apart at the turn of a page. The whole thing is fitting of its rustic design. I slide my thumb across the edges and flip through the pages. Thick forewords and passages commenting on the journal's historical significance skip past my eyes, most long enough to be their own book. Finally, a photocopied picture of one of the original entries appears, preserving the faded cursive lettering, the entire thing printed on the next page over. Crusting brown stains, and wrinkles engrave the photo. Some of the writing has been scratched out, too, like someone made mistakes and couldn't erase them. I hate to admit it, but for something that's probably a sham, the thing looks pretty authentic. So, with bounty and satisfaction in hand, I am now homeward bound, perilous journey forthcoming. Through my unrivaled intellect and unmatched ambition, I have succeeded in accomplishing what many believed would no longer prove profitable. Of course, this only comes as a surprise to those around me, not myself. I had traveled this way on a trail with many others from the Missouri Territory, but as my typical characteristic success grew, I could sense the envious stares amongst my so-called peers. The danger eventually became so great that I wished to flee, but my companions left before I woke. For what reason, you may ask? I do not know. It is with this in mind that I have taken it upon myself to leave a note for one of my fellow prospectors and to borrow his steed, so that I may one day return to settle with my family. But if this journey has taught me anything thus far, it is that jealousy. And never mind, I guess I'm not reading the rest of that. Yeah, I'm not reading all this crap. Where should I actually start? You know what, I'm gonna turn down the CPS a little bit. We'll just actually have it, we'll go with 35. Maybe that's characters per second? We'll go with that. Let's see. If he left California, lived in Missouri, and supposedly hid something in New Mexico like Marina said, then what we're looking for is likely a later entry.
Ah, here we are.
Alas, I have reached the final point of division in my travels. During my stay among the ruined sanctuary, the rogue native Lamasi had informed me of a landmark that was rich in the mythos of his people, considered sacred. He said that the chance of the gold being discovered would be very slim. He referred to it as a winged rock, a monument erected towards the sky. After my previous detour, I have finally arrived. It is with much disbelief, I must say, my friend Lamasi was right. It is not just a monument erected towards the sky. It is a mountain, almost as if the Lord himself had struck up the earth among the sand. It is guarded by trails of rocks around it, all branching from the mother rock. On this journey, I have encountered many different sights, dangers, and yes, even an occasional friend. As I look upon the mountain before me, I am reminded once more that there are things bigger and greater than I. Although I am not yet rid of this cough, my soul has been humbled and removed of fatigue. I can think of no better place to store the last of my gold, and I anxiously await the day I return.
What does it say?
Well, we got an achievement. Journal get.
The gist of it is that it's near a big rock and a bunch of little rocks.
That should narrow it down, right?
No.
Yeah, to the entire state of New Mexico.
Marina gasps and lunges towards the journal, the muscles in her neck tensed and eyes wide with panic.
That can't be the only thing he mentioned. There has to be more.
I raise the journal high above me so she can't reach it, using my hand as a blockade against her head as she desperately tries to grasp for it.
Sheesh, relax for a second. I actually have a pretty good idea of where it might be.
She settles down, still stiff with anxiety, nibbling on the tip of her thumb. I lower the book back down and read over the entry one more time just to make sure.
There's a part where he calls it a winged rock. Assuming my years of reading travel guides and brochures weren't totally useless, then I'm pretty sure that's a loose translation of what the Navajo used to call shiprock.
There's a ship out in the desert? Whoa!
I peer over the journal. Marina's imagination is going bonkers, her eyes alight as she tries to wrap her head around such a novelty even existing.
How long have you lived in New Mexico?
Marina swells up with pride, only to deflate like a balloon before speaking, instead choosing to blow a misplaced strand of hair out of the way.
All my life.
I sigh and slam the journal shut. Well, I've lived in California my entire life, and there's so much I don't know about it. Then again, it's a lot bigger than New Mexico, but still, you'd expect me, someone who's lived in the state my entire life, to know a little bit more about it, and I'm pretty gosh darn dumb with it.
It's a small mountain near the border of New Mexico and Utah that's vaguely shaped like a ship.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. Thing's a landmark.
Yeah. But hey, at least I know now.
Shrugging, I put away the journal and smirk. Misplaced as it might be, her cheeriness is a good mix-up from the norm.
Do you think the treasure might be there?
Don't know, but it's worth a shot. We don't have anything else to go on. Sure you don't want me to just take you home?
Marina hesitates for a moment, turning to the windshield as if to dodge the question with her eyes.
No, I think I want to do this.
Alright then.
I put the car in drive and look ahead. The sun has set, the blue shade of dusk rising up to take its place. I press down on the gas. Marina turns to me and smiles.
Let's hit the road.
Yeehaw, here we go, down the road, up the road somewhere. The sun has long since set and given way to darkness. Ah, darkness. Only my headlights remain illuminating the road and silhouetting the small rock formations around us. I've been alternating between the old tape and the new ones, immediately throwing on the old tape after finishing a new one and vice versa. I haven't had any complaints from Marina. She's been sitting at my side the entire time, softly humming off-key to the music. She seems to be the type to just accept things as they are, like with her car being stolen or that treasure. Especially that treasure. And to make it worse, it's not just her. Apparently it's some phenomenon now. Goes to show how much I can keep up with current events. But the whole thing smells like a scam. I bet somewhere all the big shots from that publishing house are gathered up in the corporate tower, laughing at the idiots they've ripped off with that book. Christ, I'm even starting to sound like them. The music turns to static before the cassette is silenced by a loud click. I ejected and reach for his old tape again. Marina notices, taking the opportunity to break the long-held silence.
So, do you like music a lot?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I figured. You've been playing those tapes this entire time.
She picks up one of the tapes on the center console and inspects it, going as far as to poke her pinky through one of the holes.
Though, I'm not sure what you'd call this type of music.
Yeah, I've just been playing whatever. Mostly jazz fusion and alt country. Throw in some new age crap in there for good measure.
The fuck is jazz fusion? Well, actually, the real question is what the hell is alt country?
Most of these are mixtapes I made when I was little.
Cool! Any names I'd recognize?
She peeks at me through the holes of the cassette, wearing a wide, genuine smile.
Probably not.
Aw, come on, try me!
Why not? Maybe I'm not giving her enough credit. No, we're already giving her way too much.
You know, Gabriel, Gertu, Weather Report, Donovan, Methany.
I don't know if these are made-up names, but... yeah, I'm already lost. Marina gives sage-like nods and grunts of understanding as I list off the names.
You have no idea who any of them are, do you?
Not a clue.
That's what I thought.
Sorry. I usually listen to whatever's on the radio.
I crack a slight smile.
It's alright. I could see how it might be hard to get into. My gramps used to call it road trip music.
I still think it's nice, though. It's making you really happy.
You think so?
She taps her finger gently against my cheek. I pull away a little, but let her do it anyway.
Yeah, why else would you be smiling?
I've never really thought of whether it made me happy before, but I do know it made him happy, so that's good enough for me.
That's actually why I'm going to California. You know, for a music festival.
For real? Where?
Not far from Palm Springs.
Palm Springs? Like the actual Palm Springs?
Yeah, back on the whole I don't know anything about my state. Yeah, I don't know what that place is.
Don't know if there are any other Palm Springs in California, but yeah, they do it every year for a few weekends.
I went to my first concert a little before I graduated.
She rests her head against the window and stares at the road ahead, her smile fading but still there. You know, I'd like to go to a concert. I've gone to events, but I've never gone to something like a music concert. I think that'd be pretty fun.
It was so much fun. An entire weekend of that sounds super awesome.
Nah, it ain't that cool.
Nah, I'm just driving all the way to California, but it's not cool. Marina flings her head away from the window and turns to me. Now she's staring at me like I'm crazy.
How could you even say that? It's the coolest thing ever! I wouldn't even be able to wait. I'd want to see all the bands.
Sheesh, relax. It's not like I'm taking it for granted. It's just that there's only one group I know I want to see so far.
That's right, his favorite group.
Just one?
He was so excited when he got the tickets.
Just one that I'm excited for. I'll watch a bunch, though.
Releasing a long sigh, Marina eases back into her seat.
Oh, good. I was afraid you were going to head home after you saw your group.
You crazy? I'd like to at least have a little fun before worrying about all the expenses I gotta deal with.
Adulthood.
Expenses?
Damn it.
It's nothing.
She gasps.
Are you in debt? Is it college loans? My brother said those aren't fun to deal with at all.
Yeah, that's true. Got too comfortable. Should have just kept my trap shut.
Or did you just spend too much on your
Uh-oh. Without warning, I swerve off to the side of the road and onto the rocky sand, cutting Marina off and nearly giving her a heart attack. Marina shoots me a worried glance, her face still pale.
Oh my god! What was that? Are you okay?
I pinch the bridge of my nose and my elbows on the wheel.
Amber?
I've been driving all day. I'm a little tired.
Where are we?
A little outside Albuquerque, so we aren't too far now. We'll sleep here tonight and drive to Shiprock first thing in the morning.
Good night, I guess. Killing the ignition, I climb out of my seat and into the living quarters. Marina trails behind me. I yank open the bathroom's Velcro-latched cupboards. Inside is a folded stack with a blanket sheet pillow and my old gym clothes from school. I scoop them up and toss them to Marina. She scrambles to catch it, desperately balancing them as they lean out of her arms.
Sorry about the clothes. I don't have any actual pajamas. You can sleep on the couch. It folds out into a bed.
Oh, okay.
Alright then, see you in the morning.
With that, I step into the back room and slam the sliding door before collapsing onto the oversized bed. Even in the darkness, I can make out the pictures hanging on the wall. Once upon a time, they were generic scenic pieces. Now they're photos. Photos of me and Graham. So I'm assuming whenever she refers to him, she's talking about her grandpa. She must have had some sort of deep connection with him. And maybe he's not around anymore. It's my best guess. My favorite is the one of us in front of a museum for music. Rock and roll, to be specific. I was just a little pipsqueak back then, holding up an autographed vinyl sleeve that was about the size of my head. He was by my side, squatting down and ruffling my hair as I gave the biggest smile I could. Excuse me. Even with my missing teeth. That's a lot of missing teeth. Then again, you do lose a lot of teeth when you're young. Let out a sigh and fixate on the ceiling skylight, a small silver of the moonlight shining through. It feels like an eternity since I'd last laid down in this bed. I remember it felt like being hugged by a cloud. Now it feels like concrete. Tiny creaks sound from the room next door, accompanied by Marina's little squeaks of determination as she struggles with the fold-out bed, until finally I hear a loud thud. I can't help but smirk a little. I should have warned her that it was heavy. The room over goes silent. I hope it didn't crush her. Luckily, I soon hear footsteps tiptoeing across the carpet, then on the bathroom tile. They stop outside my door.
Hey, are you awake?
Her voice is weak, barely above a whisper. It's almost impossible to hear it as it's muffled through the door. Excuse me.
I know I've said it a lot already, but I really mean it. Thanks, Amber. Good night.
I continue to stay silent. In the dark, the ceiling looks like it's constantly changing in size and dimension, sometimes getting bigger and further away, other times getting closer and smaller. I look down through the crack under the door. I can see her shadow turning around to leave. The words slip out of my mouth before she can even take her first step.
Night, kiddo.
Night, champ. So this is our official intro to it. Alright. Unless this is just like their transition from one day to the next. It could just be that. You know what? It's probably that. I'm gonna go on a whim and say that it was just that. Most people imagine Indian reservations as tucked away slices of heaven. Maybe some pocketed oasis of vibrant greens and flowing water, and what is otherwise, a wasteland. Those people are wrong. The Navajo, reservation is as sandy and barren as the rest of the desert. And at 22,475 miles, Jesus, it's neither green nor fun-sized. Not that I hate it. The miles of faded highway roads speed past me, blending together with the sand that stretches out to far-off rigid mountains. Like there's a rhythm to it all. Behind me, Marina is still stretched out on the fold-out bed, cuddling the pillow, a substitute for her blanket that's long since fallen off her bed. My old gym clothes are a little small for her, the shorts only reaching halfway down her thighs. But hey, I'm not complaining. Soon we're rolling into the town, its jagged namesake peeking over the horizon, Shiprock. The town itself is typical for this desert. Nothing fancy like a high-rise, just a whole lot of plain shacks sitting on top of gravel, painted worn browns and beiges. From behind me there's a light, almost fluffy yawn. I wonder how that bundle of joy handles mornings.
Morning.
Probably not well.
Oh, hey. You're finally awake.
Uh-huh.
She yawns again and thumps back against the bed. Guess she's not a morning person.
There's still some coffee in the...
Oh, wow! Is that Shiprock?
Well, that was fast. I take it back. Marina rushes behind me and grabs the back of the seat, her eyes sparkling.
It's huge! I can't believe we can see it from so far away!
On closer inspection, my clothes are way too tight for her. My poor shirt is being stretched to its limit. Of course, this doesn't seem to bother her at all. I don't know if I'm more embarrassed for myself or for her.
Well, we have to get moving now, so go get dressed or whatever.
Sure thing.
She scampers off to the back, finally giving me room to breathe as I make my way back to the driver's seat. Until I accidentally glance at the rearview mirror. Uh-oh. In the middle of the motorhome, Marina slips out of her pajamas and into her regular clothes. Geez, the bathroom is right there. Gotta use the whole "we're all females, it's completely okay" sort of excuse. I adjust the mirror and try my hardest to stay focused on anything else I can look at. Fully dressed, Marina pops back up beside me and settles in the passenger's seat. The desolate road continues until suddenly, as if out of nowhere, we're greeted by a line of cars, RVs, buses, and every other kind of vehicle under this blazing sun, all lumped together, stacked on top of the other, side by side, and every single one blasting their horns.
What the...
Whoa, you think this is because of the treasure?
I grit my teeth and flop back in my seat. I can only pray these are tourists, and I was the only one dumb enough to humor this scam. We're soon assimilated into the traffic jam. Slowly the motorhome inches forward, but when we finally reach the front, a whole new monster awaits us. Laid out on the dirt, barely in the shadow of the looming mountain, is a giant cluster that can only be described as such. Campers, tents, tarps, booths, you name it. A chaotic horde of people crowd around the entire unorganized mess. I cringe at the very sight of it. I really wouldn't even want to be here. I'm in hell. Yeah, that sounds like it. Marina pushes her face against the window in awe of the sheer insanity.
I don't think I've seen this many people since the concert.
Oh god, she's going to break from the overstimulation. A choir of horns serenade us from behind. Groaning, I pull forward and squeeze the motorhome into the nearest available space, stuffed tightly between everything else. Backing out is going to be a real pain.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go find that treasure.
Yay. Marina sits up and nearly leaps out of the car, but I grab her wrist and pull her back into her seat.
Just hold on a second.
Her enthusiasm fades.
Oh, that's right. You were only going to drop me off and leave.
Sorry, but I'm gonna stick around a bit longer.
Ooh.
For real?
Developments. She starts sniffling.
You're so nice to me, Amber. I think I might cry.
Hold it in. We gotta think of a game plan first.
Okay.
Marina returns to her usual happy-go-lucky, somewhat idiotic self while I grimace at the chaos outside. If I suspend my disbelief and assume the treasure is real, where would we even start? We don't even have any equipment.
I guess we may as well start by checking out the place.
I'm the first to make my way out of the sea of people. My nose is assaulted with smells of campfires and BO, masked in suntan lotion. Lovely. It's Anime Expo all over again. That was awful. Smelled terrible. Smells like tourist, alright. Marina finishes her run around the motorhome and huddles close to me, her eyes still wide with wonder but far less gung-ho than before. The two of us make our way through the makeshift campground, following a guardrail that's been set up to separate the visitors from the rock. All the while, we pass different scenes starring all sorts of people. A news anchor elbowing nosy hecklers out of the way while she tries to report, men on top of motorhomes and lawn chairs like you see at a NASCAR race, strumming away on guitars. Okay, maybe not the guitar part, but definitely on the motorhomes. Even vendors have set up shop here, selling over-ripened fruit from their booths. Ah, just like Anime Expo. And overpriced, too. Marina is speechless, looking on in overwhelmed curiosity and hovering so close I keep tripping over her. I'm half expecting her to grab onto one of my belt loops. I'm surprised. I pegged her to be pretty good with crowds.
Please stay behind the guardrail! I repeat, please stay behind the guardrail!
Thank you. A booming voice shouts over the crackling of a megaphone. Pushing through the crowd, we're shoved into a part of the crowd that's mobbing by an opening in the guardrail. They're barred from advancing by a lone man, standing on top of a folding chair and clutching his megaphone like a shotgun.
Stay behind the guardrail! Please be considerate of Navajo land!
What's going on?
Not sure. I think.
The sun reflects off of the truck behind it. I squint my eyes at the word printed on its side. Navajo Parks and Recreation.
It's the man?
The man?
Never mind.
The relentless crowd ignores him, ramming into each other as they fling a whole dictionary's worth of profanity at him.
This could get nasty.
Already sounds nasty.
Maybe they're moshing. People did that at the concert.
Just what the hell kind of concert did you go to anyway? Wait a second.
In the back of the mosh, distant from the calamity, is a familiar sight. Blonde hair intertwined and running through a dark red bandana.
What's wrong?
Remember that loud chick from the gas station?
Unfortunately.
A little. I was too busy with my slushie to really notice. Why?
I think we just found our first lead.
My voice trails off and I start towards the girl, pushing my way through the crowd.
Hey, Amber, wait!
Putting on my person mask, I take a breath and place my hand on her shoulder with a forced smile.
For the last time, old man, I don't have any!
Huh?
She whips around, her eyes prepared for murder, but her features switch to standby mode as she realizes her mistake.
Oh.
Sorry, but didn't I see you at that convenience store yesterday?
Oh yeah, that dump. Outside of Roswell, right?
Yep, that was us. I'm Amber. The other girl is Marina.
Marina waves as I extend my hand. The girl's eyes narrow, but she eventually shakes it with a surprisingly strong grip.
Mariah.
Everyone here for the treasure?
They'd be idiots if they weren't.
Hey, what do you know? You were right, Amber.
You say that like it's a good thing.
You guys here for the gold too? Not sure why else somebody would come out
She looks over the scenery and wrinkles her nose.
to this place.
The ray of sunshine next to me is looking for the gold. I'm just the ride.
Step away from the guardrail! You're all getting out of hand!
Yeah. The horde presses in. The yelling grows louder.
You aren't getting through, so I don't even know why.
A can of beer flies through the air and cracks him on the forehead, the liquid running down his face.
Oh, come on!
That's not the language I'd be using.
Navajo Parks and Recreation. They are trying to keep well-meaning treasure hunters from carving up the rock because of its religious significance.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. This is a four-corner state, so there's lots of stuff like that out here.
I think it's sweet that they're trying to protect big ol' Shippy.
Mariah stares at her, as if questioning her entire existence.
But it's a rock.
So?
It's only good for postcards and carving big monuments. Why is it such a big deal if people want to look for treasure up there?
Well, it's not gonna make much of a difference either way.
Why's that? You a non-believer?
No, I'm just not a sucker.
Damn.
That's not very nice, Amber.
Well, it's true. It's obvious that this is just an elaborate scam and everyone got ripped off.
Before I finish my sentence, a cocky, overgrown smile makes its way onto Mariah's face, oozing with snide confidence.
What if I told you I could prove the treasure is real?
I'd say you're full of it.
Damn.
Does that mean the treasure's real? Like, honest to goodness real?
Overwhelmed with excitement, Marina springs up and down, all while Mariah gives a snug nod, or smug nod, excuse me.
Yeah, right.
Oh, ye of little faith. I said I could prove it, didn't I?
And how exactly are you gonna do that?
Come back to my base full of highly trained elite treasure hunters. Then I'll show you.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure they're all highly trained, elite hunters for treasure.
Elite what now?
Highly trained elite treasure hunters.
Okay, we get it. We can back up now.
Right. Thanks, but no thanks. We'll pass.
What? But why?
Well, because...
You said we needed a game plan, right? This is the best chance we have right now.
A terrifying amount of determination emanates from her as she forces an unwavering stare on me. Her gaze intensifies. I look down at my dusty shoes and finally give in.
Jeez, if it'll make you that happy, I'll do it.
Yay!
She's really damn determined. I'll give her that much. I'm not sure I could have said no.
But this better be legit, you hear?
I point to Mariah.
I'm not in the mood to be jerked around today.
Yeah, I'll keep my word.
Hey! Stop it!
We look back to the crowd. The guardrails have toppled over, and the crowd surge toward the man.
I'm warning you! Stay back! I have a megaphone!
Probably should have come with a little bit more, buddy. Crowd circles in around the chair and topples it over, the man crashing down with it.
We should probably scram.
Way ahead of you.
Sleek and lavish, Mariah's motorhome is like a mansion on wheels. It's chromy, black paint is so fresh that you can practically smell the primer.
Here we are. Base, sweet base.
She throws the door open.
Joe, Tess, Buck up, we have guests.
Marina and I shoot each other an unsure glance, then enter the motorhome.
Oh, hey. Did you finally manage to make some friends?
Hey, it's one of the characters from the promotional art. Or, I don't know, I've seen his sprite somewhere. But anyways, we're going to end it here. We're out of time, I think. Not exactly sure. I lost track of time since I had to stop midway through for a few minutes. But I think we're good on this one. So thank you for watching. I hope that you all are looking forward to seeing a little bit more of this, as am I. See where the story goes. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, all that fantastic jazz, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy.